Hi, thanks and welcome back. Today I really wanted to talk to you about a topic that has just reached epidemic proportions. And I'm running into so many everyday people and clients who are telling me, Sheila, I just feel so beat down in the marketplace. And that feeling is a result of poor customer service. I've always had the opinion that every customer service exchange, even if it's only for a brief moment, a few seconds, provides an opportunity to uplift someone's soul. So why is it that more and more people are feeling like these exchanges are paving the road to hell for them? I reached out to all of you on YouTube and I said, please send me some emails, send me some notes about your recent experiences here in the marketplace. And what I got back was just very surprising, interesting to say the least. Mary from Portland said, I had a contractor to stop working on my house midstream, left with $20,000 of my money. I never heard from him, and to boot, he was rude when he was doing the work. Nick from Chicago had a dentist almost for all of his life, ends up having a root canal, complained about his pain, complained a little bit about the procedure itself. And so his dentist, who he thought was a lifelong pal, dropped him from the client roster. And then we had Melissa in Fort Wayne. This is my personal favorite. She went to a fish fry and found a bug on her platter, and the restaurant refused to refund her money because she had taken a few bites of the fish before she saw the bug. If it all sounds ridiculous, it's because it is, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure most of you who are watching this video can relate to the phone calls and emails that have gone unreturned. You can't get through to the right person. They're running you around in circles, and the rude treatment on top of that. And what makes it worse, 9 times out of 10, it's your hard-earned money that's wrapped around these exchanges, and you're made to feel like you're doing something wrong. So again, it's a problem. And what makes it really dangerous from my perspective is it is a pervasive, it's happening constantly, and it would be different if these exchanges, every once in a blue moon, I had a rough time at the bank or at my dealership, but no, these exchanges are happening back to back. So that's why, I'm calling this phenomena, beat down in the marketplace. Absolutely consumer fatigue. I had a client who came to me a couple months ago, and she described 3 incidents. Any one of these could have potentially pushed someone over the edge as far as their mental health, but within 1 week, she needed to take her child out of daycare because the daycare provider was not addressing her child's toileting needs accurately, and so she ended up needing to pull her out. Second incident happened. She had to put her car in the shop. The original quote from the mechanic was completely off. He jacked the quote up by 3 times and actually held her car hostage and said, once you can pay this, you can come on back in and get your car. So what does she do? She takes a trip to the car rental place. They mistakenly make the reservation but give her car to someone else. Where is she left after that? Stuck. So instead of being polite and apologizing, the individual behind the counter tells her, hey ma'am, it's life. This is just something you have to learn how to deal with. So what's happening? What is going on? There was a time, and it seems like it was long ago, but it really wasn't, that establishments felt honored. It was a privilege for us to come into their place of business, and they showed us appreciation by the tone of voice that they used. They showed us appreciation by adding value to our day with a smile and basic courtesy and basic respect. And it seems like in this day and age, all of those things are in very short supply. Most of us just in general, we're dealing with the pressures of life. So we're already feeling beat down on any given day. We certainly don't need the places that we're giving our hard-earned dollars to adding fuel to the fire. So what I want to do is explain to you from my perspective and based on my research what is going on, so you don't feel like, am I just losing my mind here? You're really not. So really 3 points I want to make about what is happening, and then I want to talk about what can you do as the consumer today to protect your mental health, your sanity, and just stay in an empowered seat when you're out here in the marketplace. First thing that's happening is more people are running on short fuses with limited resources. Okay, so what does that mean? What if you put a worker or employee together with a consumer and neither side is managing their stress or taking care of themselves adequately, getting enough sleep? It is a recipe for disaster. When these exchanges happen, someone needs to stay cool, but more often than not, there's a short fuse going on both sides. So what you have is chaos in terms of what you're seeing sometimes where the behavior is concerned in the marketplace on the worker or the employee side. It's on both sides, but let's face it, the onus and the responsibility to take the high road is on the employee. Number 2, what's happening is employers, because of economic shifts, economic changes and shifts in the tide, you're seeing more and more employers cut back on key essential trainings that would reinforce in a very positive and proactive way how to handle your emotions, how to handle customers in the marketplace when situations get tense, when a circumstance comes that's upsetting. So there's continuous training and reinforcement needed, but organizations see that as a luxury and not necessarily a necessity. So oftentimes the consumer is bearing the brunt. And 3, we're dealing with a lot of role reversal and entitlement issues that's really going unchecked. What do I mean by that? A recent story that I'd like to share with you, I believe it illustrates the point beautifully. So I'm always on the lookout for, customer service in all arenas. So I was at the grocery store and I noticed that the checker was not greeting the patrons as she was checking them out. So I made it a point when it was my turn to greet her with a hello, how are you doing today? A smile. And her eyes get as big as saucers. And she said to me, wow, a customer who says hello for a change. Now, that's interesting. Used to be the other way around. The customer could always expect a big smile and a hearty greeting. So you can start to see that as internal resources diminish and people don't have the proper reinforcement, we've crossed over into a role reversal. And that's very disturbing, but it's good for you to know so you're not taken off guard. So how can you feel more empowered and stay off those feelings that make you feel like, I'm depleted, I have no power, I'm just going to give up, I'm frustrated? That's not what I want you to do. So I want to give you 3 tips, 3 things that you can do to really stay focused and to stay completely empowered as a consumer and voting with your hard-earned dollars. So number 1, what you never want to do, and you might have the temptation to do, is shrink to the lowest common denominator with someone who's not giving you that excellent customer service. So you might want to fight fire with fire, but really when you think about it, at the end of the day, you may blow off some steam, but nothing has really changed. So I beg of you to adopt the educator and example stance. So that means that when these situations happen, you look at your role in that situation very differently. So let me give you an example. You're out somewhere at the clothing store and the clerk doesn't say hi to you. You know, when you check out, she gives you a little bit of attitude. It's easy enough to say, you know, what's your problem? But what is that really going to do? What's very powerful is using a calm, focused tone and a laser-directed comment. You could say something like, you know what, it seems like you're having a really bad day at work. So that's really putting them in check, but in a way that's non-threatening and they can truly hear it. Another thing that I've done on many occasions is take a deep breath, and I have told an employee, you know what, if you could be standing in my shoes and hear the way that you're talking to me, you will walk out that door and never come back. So again, it's sobering. It's giving them something to think about. Number two, and this is something that I do, I have 2 files filled with 2 kinds of letters. When I receive excellent customer service, I always craft a letter. It doesn't have to be a novel, but I craft a letter and get it in the hands of a decision maker or someone who can really continue to set the tone and the agenda in that company. Letters are powerful. The second kind of letter that I write is a letter when I receive poor customer service. And I always remind them in the letter that, look, I am a client. You know, if you tally the math, as often as I come in here, if you lose my business over a lifetime, this is going to be the bottom line. So it's really nice in your letters to stick to the facts, put numbers in, and suggest that they look into some policy changes if need be, or at a minimum, certainly address the behavior of any particular employees. Again, letters are very powerful. I've heard back from many presidents, CEOs of companies on both sides. Number 3, stop giving your money to individuals, your money and your service and your time to individuals who are not giving you that value added piece in the product and in the service that they're providing. I know it can be a pain in the butt to find another banker, to find another hairdresser, to find another mechanic, but ultimately these behaviors will stop and these people will stop, and the organizations that are allowing this poor customer service to perpetuate will be stopped because you have a powerful vote and you're able to actually vote with your dollars. And again, even though it may take a little bit of time to seek out a different vendor, that's therapeutic in and of itself, and it's very, very empowering. And I can hear someone saying right now, but Sheila, I don't have options at this point in time. What I would say to you is, I'm a realist, and I know sometimes there's situations where you just feel stuck in terms of the services where you have to receive. What I would say to you is continue on with your chin up, but be working on your plan so that you can receive alternate services somewhere else. Always working on your plan, continuing to take your notes on what is going on. What do you see that is inappropriate, that you don't like? How are you treated? And again, continuous to make the plan so you can exercise your options when they present themselves. But the worst thing you can do is roll over in the marketplace and say, you know what, they've beat me down. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the job and stop the presses. Don't do that, because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. I want you to feel empowered. Think about the tips and suggestions and refuse to remain beat down in the marketplace. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.